It was the kind of night that tricks you into thinking the world is at peace. The Pacific stretched out like black glass under a canopy of cold stars. The wind was gentle, the air still. But far beneath the waves, the earth was anything but calm. Deep under the waters off Russia's remote Kamchatka Peninsula, the planet shifted with unimaginable violence. In a single, unstoppable motion, the seabed lurched upward. This wasn't a tremor, this was a colossal rupture. An earthquake measuring between magnitude 8.7 and 8.8, powerful enough to rank among the strongest in modern history. And with that snap, a chain reaction began, one that would reach across half the planet. This was not a random earthquake, it struck in one of the most dangerous zones on the planet, the Pacific Ring of Fire. This is where the Earth's crust isn't just moving. It's colliding, breaking, and reforming constantly. The shock waves from the quake raced outward through land and sea alike. Coastal communities in Russia's Far East felt the jolt within seconds. Within minutes, the rest of the Pacific was watching. Sirens blared in the darkness, roads filled with headlights as people rushed inland. Radios crackled with urgent evacuation orders. For millions living along the Pacific Rim, this kind of event is the ultimate nightmare. The earthquake is only the first act. The real fear comes afterward. The possibility of a tsunami, a wall of water that can erase entire towns in minutes. Kamchatka is a place of extremes, a vast peninsula jutting into the North Pacific, home to more than 300 volcanoes, rugged mountains, and some of the harshest weather in the world. It's sparsely populated, its fishing villages scattered along a coastline that has been shaped and reshaped by centuries of seismic violence. When the quake struck here, it did more than rattle buildings. It tore at the very structure of the planet. Picture the seafloor as a vast, jagged slab of rock, hundreds of miles long. Now imagine that slab being forced upward several meters in just seconds. The amount of energy released in that single motion was equivalent to hundreds of millions of tons of TNT. For the people of Kamchatka, earthquakes aren't unusual. But one of this magnitude is not just another rumble. It's an event that can change coastlines, destroy livelihoods, and alter maps. The Ring of Fire is not some poetic name. It is a reality. This massive horseshoe-shaped zone stretches some 25,000 miles around the Pacific Ocean. From South America's southern tip, up past the US West Coast, through Alaska, then down past Japan, the Philippines, Indonesia, and New Zealand. It is a near-continuous chain of geological fury. Roughly 3/4 of the world's volcanoes and up to 90% of its earthquakes occur in this zone. That's because here, enormous tectonic plates, massive slabs of the Earth's crust, meet and grind against each other. In places like Kamchatka, we find subduction zones, geological pressure cookers. One plate is slowly forced under another, creating unimaginable stress over decades or even centuries. When the strain becomes too great, the upper plate suddenly snaps and the seafloor shifts. That violent movement can either raise or drop entire sections of the ocean floor, instantly displacing the water above. It's a process scientists understand in theory, but one that still happens without warning. Once the seafloor jumps, the water above it reacts instantly. If the ocean's surface bulges upward, gravity pulls it back down. If it drops, surrounding water rushes in to fill the gap. In both cases, the result is the same: a series of powerful waves radiating outward. Out in the open ocean, these waves are almost invisible, often less than a meter high. But they are fast. In deep water, a tsunami can travel at 500 miles per hour, as fast as a commercial jet. It's only when the waves approach shallower coastal waters that the danger reveals itself. As the depth decreases, the wave slows. but the energy behind it has nowhere to go but up. That's when a barely noticeable swell can transform into a wall of water tall enough to flatten buildings. This is the moment coastal communities dread, when the ocean turns from calm to catastrophic. The quake off Kamchatka set off tsunami warnings across nearly the entire Pacific Ocean. In Russia's Far East, the first waves, some reaching 13 feet high, slammed into coastal towns. Streets flooded within minutes. Fishing docks were torn apart. In some areas, seawater surged hundreds of meters inland. Authorities in towns like Kurilsk moved quickly, ordering immediate evacuations. People climbed to higher ground, carrying whatever they could manage in the rush: pets, children, small bags of essentials. Thanks to rapid alerts and effective coordination, casualties were avoided. But the damage to homes, boats, and infrastructure was significant. The Pacific Ocean is vast, but a tsunami can cross it in a matter of hours. That's why even small island nations thousands of miles away, places like Guam, Micronesia, the Marshall Islands, and Palau, prepared for impact. Fishing boats were moved far offshore, where the deep water would make the waves less dangerous. Coastal markets closed. Families stayed indoors or moved to higher ground. On the US West Coast, tsunami alerts lit up phones from Alaska to California. Predictions called for waves only 1 to 2 feet high, but experts warned that the danger wasn't in the height. It was in the currents. Strong, unpredictable surges could capsize boats, rip swimmers from the shore, and smash piers. In Hawaii, the warning was taken seriously. Sirens echoed through the night. Low-lying neighborhoods were cleared. At Hilo Airport, flights were suspended. Even after the first wave passed, residents were told to keep away from beaches, knowing that tsunamis can arrive in a series of dangerous waves, hours apart. In Japan, the government's meteorological agency moved fast. Predictions warned of waves up to 10 feet along northern and eastern coasts. Millions of residents received evacuation orders. On Hokkaido and along stretches of northern Honshu, the first waves, just over a foot high, arrived quietly. But authorities warned larger ones could come later. Railways shut down. Highways near the coast were closed. Shelters filled as people watched live broadcasts of the sea, waiting to see if it would rise. Japan's caution wasn't paranoia. It was shaped by history, particularly by the catastrophic events of 2011. Nearly 5,000 miles away, New Zealand also went on alert. Forecasts warned of dangerous currents along the eastern coastline, especially around East Cape's Lawton Point. Residents were urged to stay out of the water, avoid beaches, and keep small boats secured. Even without massive wave heights, the sheer force of the incoming currents could drag people into open water in seconds. This was yet another reminder that the Pacific is a single, interconnected system. An event in one corner sends ripples, sometimes literal ones, across to the other side. The Kamchatka Tsunami didn't become a disaster on the scale of 2011, but that tragedy remains the benchmark for Pacific fear. On March 11, 2011, at 2:46 p.m., a magnitude 9.0 earthquake struck off Japan's northeast coast. It was the fourth most powerful quake ever recorded. The seafloor surged upward, and a tsunami was born. Out at sea, it was only a few feet high. But as it hit Japan's coast, it transformed into towering walls of water, in some places over 130 feet high. Entire cities vanished. Over 18,000 lives were lost. And at Fukushima, the waves triggered a nuclear disaster that would scar the nation for decades. For those who lived through it, any tsunami warning, no matter the size, brings back the same dread. The Kamchatka quake will be remembered not for destruction, but for what it reminded us. In the Pacific, no coastline is ever completely safe. The ocean doesn't respect borders, and its power can travel thousands of miles without losing momentum. This time, early warning systems worked. People listened. Lives were saved, but the next time could be different. The next quake could be stronger, the next wave could be higher. The Earth is restless. The Ring of Fire never sleeps. And the ocean, as beautiful as it is, will always hold the power to reshape our world in a single night. Thanks for watching. Please like the video, press the subscribe button, and also drop your thoughts in the comments section.